Welcome to Health for Real Life, where every leaf, every sip of tea, every sleep brings a little gentle care for the health of old age. Here, there is nothing complicated, no difficult advice, just simple, everyday sharing, and easy to apply in your own home. If you are looking for a place to relax, learn more good things, and love yourself more every day, then this is the little corner just for you. It's difficult to describe what it feels like when your memory begins to fade. For some, it starts gradually. A name you've always remembered suddenly slips away, or you walk into a room and forget why. For others, the changes come more sharply. Confusion in once familiar places, difficulty keeping track of medications, or an increasing reliance on others for everyday decisions. Whether you're living with mild cognitive impairment or supporting someone who is, these changes can feel frightening, disorienting, and deeply frustrating. You may find yourself wondering if this is simply part of aging, or if something more serious is happening. And perhaps most pressing of all, what can actually help? These are not small questions. Cognitive health, our ability to think clearly, remember, and make decisions, touches every part of how we live. And while the aging brain naturally changes over time, not all memory loss is inevitable or untreatable. With the right support, many people with cognitive decline can continue to live with dignity, purpose, and a high degree of independence. In recent years, a quiet but powerful shift has been underway. Technology, once seen as the domain of younger generations, is now emerging as a critical tool in supporting seniors with cognitive impairment. But it's not about flashy gadgets or keeping up with the latest trends. It's about real solutions that address real needs, your needs. At the heart of this shift is a deeper understanding of what cognitive impairment actually is. Unlike normal forgetfulness that can come with age, cognitive impairment refers to noticeable, measurable declines in memory, attention, reasoning, or other thinking skills. This can range from mild cognitive impairment (MCI), which does not always lead to dementia, to more serious forms of cognitive decline, such as Alzheimer's disease or vascular dementia. The aging brain, while resilient in many ways, becomes more vulnerable to a variety of stresses. Changes in blood flow, inflammation, shrinking brain volume, and the buildup of abnormal proteins. These changes affect not only memory, but also executive function, the ability to plan, prioritize, and follow through on tasks. This is where technology plays a uniquely supportive role. For older adults experiencing cognitive decline, daily life can become increasingly fragmented. Time becomes harder to track. Routines are harder to follow. Important steps, taking a medication, turning off the stove, locking the door, may be forgotten. These are not just inconveniences, they are real risks to safety and quality of life. When memory falters, the world can begin to feel unpredictable and unsafe. But thoughtfully designed technology can serve as a kind of external memory and anchor for the things that used to come automatically. Consider the impact of something as straightforward as a digital reminder system. Unlike a traditional paper calendar or pillbox, smart reminder systems can be programmed to give audible, visual, or even tactile alerts when it's time to take a medication, eat a meal, or attend an appointment. Some systems are voice-activated, which is particularly helpful for those who may have difficulty navigating buttons or screens. These reminders don't just prompt action, they reduce anxiety. The constant mental strain of trying not to forget can lead to stress, confusion, and emotional fatigue. When that mental burden is lifted, even slightly, it creates room for greater clarity and calm. Safety is another critical area where technology is having a tangible impact. For individuals with more advanced cognitive impairment, wandering can pose serious danger. In the early stages of dementia, it's not uncommon to become disoriented, even in familiar neighborhoods. Wearable GPS trackers and smart ID tags can alert caregivers if someone has left a designated area, allowing for quick intervention without completely restricting independence. These tools are not about surveillance, they are about protection. And importantly, they allow many older adults to maintain a greater sense of freedom, which is vital for emotional well-being. Beyond memory and safety, one of the most overlooked effects of cognitive impairment is the risk of social isolation. As memory becomes less reliable, conversations can feel overwhelming. Names are forgotten. Stories repeat. Interactions that once brought joy may now cause embarrassment or confusion. Over time, this often leads to withdrawal from social gatherings, from activities, even from close relationships. And yet, Loneliness and cognitive decline are deeply interconnected. Isolation can accelerate memory loss, while meaningful engagement can help slow it. Here, too, technology offers real-world support. Video calling platforms with simplified interfaces, such as those designed specifically for seniors, can bridge this gap. Some systems allow for one-touch video calls, voice-controlled messaging, or automatic connections to pre-approved contacts. These platforms help maintain social bonds, even when face-to-face interactions are difficult. Additionally, virtual reality programs designed with cognitive health in mind are being used in some care settings to stimulate memory and promote emotional connection. A senior might take a virtual walk through their childhood hometown or visit a famous landmark they've always wanted to see. These experiences aren't just entertaining, they engage the brain in ways that help preserve its function. Of course, not all technology is equally helpful, and not every senior will feel comfortable using new devices. Cognitive impairment often affects the ability to learn new systems, which means simplicity and accessibility are paramount. Tools must be intuitive, with minimal steps and clear feedback. A complex app with too many menus may create more frustration than benefit. But when technology is tailored for cognitive support, when it understands how the aging brain works, it can become a vital companion rather than a confusing obstacle. One of the most promising developments in this area is the rise of voice-activated assistants. These tools, once seen as novelties, are now proving essential for seniors with memory or mobility challenges. With a simple spoken command, you can ask for the weather, hear the news, create a shopping list, or set a medication reminder. More advanced systems can even monitor patterns of activity, detect anomalies such as unusual movement at night, and send alerts to family members or caregivers. This kind of support system allows for greater independence while still maintaining a safety net. But technology is not just about gadgets, it's also about information. Digital platforms now offer cognitive training programs designed specifically for older adults. These programs are based on principles from neuroscience and gerontology, targeting areas of the brain involved in memory, attention, language, and problem-solving. Some programs are adaptive, adjusting the difficulty based on your performance, which helps ensure you are neither under nor over-challenged. Importantly, these exercises are not meant to reverse cognitive decline, but rather to maintain and strengthen existing function. Just as physical exercise helps preserve muscle and joint health, mental exercise done correctly and consistently supports brain resilience. While these advances are promising, the path forward depends on a deeper recognition of how profoundly cognitive changes affect daily life and how essential it is that support tools match the lived realities of aging. You are not just managing forgetfulness, you are navigating an invisible shift in how you relate to the world, how you maintain your independence, and how you preserve your sense of identity. The right tools can't make that journey easy, but they can make it possible. They can give you more time, more autonomy, and more moments of connection in a life that still holds value and meaning. One of the central challenges of cognitive decline is the gradual erosion of autonomy. Tasks that were once automatic, paying bills, remembering appointments, preparing meals, can begin to require increasing effort or external support. This shift is not just practical, it's emotional. Independence, for many seniors, is not only about capability, it is about dignity. The desire to manage your own life, to make your own choices, and to maintain control over the details of your daily routine remains just as strong, even when cognition begins to decline. The question then becomes, how can technology preserve that autonomy without overwhelming or replacing the person it is meant to serve? The answer lies in adaptive technologies, tools that do not merely assist but adjust to your changing needs. These systems are designed to work with you, not around you. For instance, smart home environments can provide a range of subtle, supportive interventions. Motion-activated lighting can prevent falls at night, reducing the danger of navigating dark hallways. Smart thermostats can regulate temperature consistently, especially important for older adults who may have diminished sensitivity to heat or cold. Even kitchen appliances can now be programmed to shut off automatically after a period of inactivity, preventing potential hazards without requiring constant vigilance. What makes these technologies particularly beneficial for seniors with cognitive impairment is that they are designed to integrate seamlessly into the environment. They do not require you to remember to turn them on or off. They do not demand complex learning or frequent updating. Instead, they create an ecosystem that reinforces safety, consistency, and comfort, all essential foundations for maintaining confidence and independence. Another powerful example comes in the form of digital medication management systems. As cognitive function begins to wane, medication adherence can quickly become compromised. You may forget whether you've taken a dose or accidentally take more than prescribed. This is especially dangerous for conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, where consistency is critical. Technology now offers highly personalized solutions, smart pill dispensers that only release the correct medication at the correct time, with built-in alerts, reminders, and caregiver notifications. These devices are often connected to an app or monitoring platform, allowing family members or healthcare providers to track adherence in real time. This not only supports the individual's health, it reduces caregiver stress, builds trust, and strengthens the overall circle of care. For seniors who live alone, this kind of technological scaffolding becomes even more vital. Isolation, whether by choice or circumstance, increases the risk of unaddressed emergencies, from falls to missed meals to sudden confusion. Passive monitoring systems installed unobtrusively in the home can track patterns in movement, bathroom use, or time spent in bed. If a pattern changes unexpectedly, the system can send an alert to a designated contact. Importantly, these systems are not invasive. They do not use cameras or record conversations. Their aim is not surveillance, but silent reassurance. You can live in your own space with peace of mind, knowing that support is quietly present in the background if needed. One of the most emotionally complex aspects of cognitive impairment is the way it reshapes communication. As memory, language, and attention fluctuate, conversations can become more challenging. You may find it harder to follow a story, recall a detail, or express a thought clearly. This can lead to a painful sense of distance from loved ones, from the world, and even from yourself. Here, communication technology is evolving to meet you where you are. For example, some tablet-based platforms are designed specifically for seniors with memory issues. These tools use large icons, simple layouts, and one-touch connections to facilitate communication. Photos, voice memos, and video clips can be shared with ease, helping bridge cognitive gaps that may make real-time conversations difficult. For those in the middle or later stages of dementia, personalized memory aids can be embedded in these systems, images of family members, names, relationships, and voice prompts that provide gentle orientation. These cues do not patronize, they preserve personhood. They affirm identity in moments when it may feel as though it is slipping away. The use of artificial intelligence, AI, is also beginning to play a role in supporting communication. Voice recognition software, tailored for older adults, can adjust for speech variability and cognitive pace. Some systems are capable of conversational support, responding to simple questions, guiding a user through a task, or offering gentle encouragement. While these technologies are still evolving, their potential to serve as daily companions, especially for those who are socially isolated, is significant. Importantly, none of this replaces human connection. Technology is not a substitute for care, but it can extend the reach and depth of care when human contact is limited. For caregivers, whether professional or family-based, technology can provide continuity, data, and reassurance. For the senior, it can offer consistency, structure, and the preservation of self-management, even in the face of cognitive change. Another area where technology can support cognitive health is through routine and habit reinforcement. The aging brain thrives on rhythm. Predictable routines, waking up at the same time, eating regular meals, engaging in familiar activities, help reduce confusion and increase stability. But when cognitive function is compromised, maintaining these routines independently becomes more difficult. Smart devices can help reinforce daily structure. Voice assistants can be programmed to announce events. It's time for breakfast. Don't forget your walk today. These prompts are not simply reminders, they are anchors in a day that might otherwise feel disoriented or unstructured. Additionally, wearable devices such as smartwatches can prompt hydration, movement, or rest at appropriate intervals. For example, a gentle vibration on the wrist can serve as a cue to drink water, preventing dehydration, a common and serious issue among older adults with cognitive decline. If paired with heart rate and movement sensors, these devices can also identify signs of stress, fatigue, or potential health concerns early, prompting timely intervention. Despite all of these advantages, it's important to acknowledge the barriers that still exist. Cost, complexity, and access to reliable internet remain real concerns. Many seniors, particularly those in rural or underserved areas, may not have the infrastructure to support these tools. Moreover, even when technology is available, the learning curve can feel steep. Cognitive impairment, by its nature, can limit one's ability to adapt to new systems. That's why successful implementation depends on thoughtful design, education, and, most of all, patience. Support must be ongoing, not a one-time introduction. Devices must be tested and adapted in real-world environments, not simply prescribed or recommended. Families and caregivers play a central role in this process. Technology works best when it is introduced collaboratively with the senior's preferences, needs, and comfort level at the forefront. Training should be gradual, feedback should be welcomed, and expectations should be realistic. Even simple tools can make a profound difference as long as they are used consistently and with confidence. As the global population ages, more research is emerging to evaluate the effectiveness of these technologies in clinical settings. Studies are examining not just how well these tools work, but how they affect quality of life, levels of anxiety, sense of control, emotional well-being. What we are learning is that when technology is implemented thoughtfully and with empathy, it becomes far more than a convenience. It becomes a form of care. Cognitive impairment can feel like a slow and uncertain erosion of the self, but the tools we now have at our disposal allow us to push back gently, but firmly against that decline. They help maintain structure where confusion might otherwise grow. They preserve safety without surrendering freedom. And perhaps most importantly, they honor the reality that even as your memory changes, your life remains your own. While much of the conversation around cognitive impairment rightly focuses on practical challenges such as memory loss, safety, and task management, there is another, equally important dimension to address: emotional health. The experience of cognitive decline is not just clinical, it is profoundly personal. Feelings of frustration, fear, grief, and even shame often accompany the realization that one's mental sharpness is not what it once was. For many seniors, this emotional toll can be just as debilitating as the cognitive changes themselves. Technology, when used thoughtfully, can help ease this burden not by masking the decline, but by supporting emotional resilience in the face of it. One of the most powerful ways technology contributes to emotional health is through digital therapeutic interventions. These are programs, often app-based or web-based, that offer cognitive behavioral strategies, mindfulness techniques, and emotional self-regulation tools tailored specifically for older adults. Some platforms are designed to help you identify and manage symptoms of depression or anxiety, which frequently co-occur with cognitive decline. These programs are not substitutes for professional mental health care, but they can offer meaningful support, especially for those who may not have easy access to therapists or counselors familiar with geriatric needs. Equally important are tools that foster identity and self-expression. As memory weakens, the ability to recall and recount your personal story can become more difficult. This loss of narrative of knowing and sharing who you are can lead to a sense of disconnection from yourself and others. But digital memory books, voice journaling apps, and life story platforms are now available to help preserve and reinforce a person's identity. With assistance from caregivers or loved ones, seniors can record key memories, photos, audio reflections, or video messages that help document their life history. These tools serve a dual purpose. They act as cognitive prompts for the individual and become a bridge to deeper communication with family and friends. Even on difficult days, the presence of one's own story can be a grounding reminder that despite the changes in function, your life still holds meaning and continuity. In recent years, researchers have also begun exploring the use of immersive technology, such as virtual reality (VR), in cognitive care. While still relatively new, early findings suggest that VR experiences can reduce anxiety, elevate mood, and even improve cognitive engagement in some individuals with dementia or cognitive impairment. For example, programs might simulate a walk through a peaceful forest, a visit to a childhood town, or the experience of sitting in a familiar church or garden. These environments are not just distractions. They stimulate sensory processing, evoke emotional memories, and re-engage parts of the brain that may have become less active in daily life. This is particularly relevant when considering the neuroplasticity of the aging brain. While it is true that certain types of brain function decline with age, such as processing speed or short-term memory, others, like emotional reasoning, pattern recognition, and long-term memory recall, can remain quite strong. By activating and engaging these preserved areas through customized digital tools, technology offers a form of stimulation that is both enjoyable and neurologically beneficial. Music, for instance, is one of the most robust channels for emotional and cognitive engagement. Many older adults with cognitive impairment retain a strong connection to music, particularly from their youth. Streaming services and music therapy apps can create personalized playlists that trigger recognition, emotional comfort, and even verbal expression. In some dementia care programs, listening to familiar music has been shown to increase alertness, reduce agitation, and facilitate social interaction even among individuals who struggle with spoken language. This response is not anecdotal. It reflects the unique way music is processed in the brain, bypassing some of the neural pathways most affected by diseases like Alzheimer's. For seniors who may not be comfortable using complex digital systems, simplified music devices have been developed with large buttons, tactile feedback, and pre-programmed content. These tools provide an easy, accessible way to experience the emotional and cognitive benefits of music without requiring technical skill. In some cases, music can even serve as a therapeutic intervention, reducing the need for sedative medications or easing the transition into sleep and rest periods. Social connection remains another cornerstone of emotional health, and here, again, technology can serve as a crucial lifeline. While we often think of social media as the domain of younger people, more seniors are now using platforms specifically adapted for their needs. These tools prioritize simplicity, privacy, and ease of use. Some allow for scheduled video chats, shared photo albums, or collaborative activities like games and storytelling with grandchildren. This intergenerational connection is not only emotionally fulfilling, it also stimulates cognitive function through interaction, conversation, and the exchange of ideas. Moreover, certain online communities have emerged as safe spaces for seniors living with cognitive impairment. These platforms offer discussion forums, guided groups, and moderated spaces where you can share experiences, ask questions, or simply feel seen by others going through similar challenges. The psychological value of being understood, of knowing that you are not alone in this journey, cannot be overstated. These digital communities are not replacements for in-person connection, but they do expand the range of support available, especially for those who are homebound or geographically isolated. For those who serve as caregivers, spouses, children, friends, technology also provides essential tools for communication and coordination. Shared care calendars, real-time health updates, and remote monitoring apps help families stay aligned in their efforts, even when they live far apart. These systems reduce duplication, prevent oversight, and allow caregivers to act as a team. Importantly, they also offer opportunities to include the senior as an active participant in their own care, fostering a sense of agency even amid increasing dependence. Privacy, of course, must always be a central concern. Seniors have the right to control how their data is used, who has access to their information, and when and where monitoring is appropriate. Ethical implementation of technology means balancing safety with respect for autonomy. Consent must be informed, ongoing, and tailored to the individual's cognitive capacity at any given stage. It is essential that technology be framed not as a way to control the person with impairment, but as a means of empowering them with choice and protection. It's also important to recognize that technology can play a vital role in proactive care, supporting brain health before significant decline begins. For seniors in their 60s and early 70s who are still cognitively healthy, incorporating technology into daily life can serve as a form of preventative medicine. Brain training programs, nutrition trackers, sleep monitors, and guided meditation apps all contribute to the pillars of cognitive health: mental stimulation, physical activity, emotional regulation, and quality rest. These habits are not only beneficial in the short term, they lay the foundation for greater resilience later on. In this way, Technology does more than respond to cognitive impairment. It can help delay or reduce its severity. By supporting your brain through structured, personalized tools, you are investing in your future self. And while no app or device can eliminate the risk of dementia, evidence increasingly supports the idea that consistent, low-stress engagement with supportive technology can enhance cognitive reserve, the brain's ability to compensate for damage and function well despite underlying pathology. What emerges from all of this is a broader truth. Technology is not a cure, but it is a companion. It does not erase the complexities of aging, but it does offer new ways to meet those complexities with strength, safety, and grace. Whether through a voice that reminds you to take your pills, a screen that connects you to a distant loved one, or a melody that brings back a cherished memory, the tools we now have can help you remain not only functional but connected, remembered, and whole. To understand the full promise of technology in cognitive health, it's essential to place it within the broader context of dignity. Aging, particularly with cognitive impairment, presents not just a set of clinical problems, but a deeply human experience marked by adaptation, loss, and resilience. The tools we use in this phase of life should not merely aim to correct or compensate. They must also affirm. At every step, technology should act not only as a functional aid but as a reflection of respect for your memories, your independence, your preferences, and your right to participate fully in the life you have built. This is especially vital in environments such as assisted living facilities, memory care units, and in-home caregiving settings. In these contexts, technology can play an important role in restoring a sense of agency that may feel diminished. Something as simple as a personalized tablet interface, where a resident can select music, photos, or even food preferences with visual cues, can provide a profound sense of choice. Voice-controlled environments allow seniors with cognitive or physical limitations to adjust lighting, request a favorite song, or call a loved one with a single spoken command. These actions are small in appearance, but their psychological impact is significant. They replace helplessness with action, passivity with participation. One area of growing interest is the development of ambient intelligence, a term used to describe technology that is embedded quietly into the environment, responding automatically to behavior without conscious user input. Unlike traditional tools that require you to initiate action, ambient intelligence systems work in the background, detecting patterns, monitoring changes, and intervening only when necessary. For example, a cognitively impaired individual may begin to wake repeatedly during the night, unaware of the disruption to their sleep schedule. A smart home system can detect this pattern, adjust lighting and temperature to encourage rest, and alert caregivers if the behavior suggests an emerging health issue. The result is intervention without intrusion, support that is both compassionate and discreet. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are also shaping the next generation of cognitive care tools. Some systems are now able to detect subtle changes in speech, facial expression, or movement that may indicate early cognitive shifts or emotional distress. These insights can be shared with care teams or physicians, allowing for earlier interventions. While still in development, this technology holds the potential to identify changes far earlier than traditional observation alone, creating a window of opportunity for slowing progression or adjusting care strategies. Yet, as we move further into this technologically enhanced future, a critical balance must be preserved. Innovation should never come at the cost of connection. A senior living with cognitive impairment does not need more data, they need more understanding. They do not benefit from complexity, they benefit from clarity, consistency, and kindness. That's why the human dimension of technology matters just as much as the hardware and software. When a device is designed with empathy, when it reflects an understanding of what it feels like to lose control over your mind, it becomes more than a tool, it becomes a partner in preserving your identity. This is especially evident in programs that combine technology with live interaction. For example, some platforms pair remote monitoring with regular video check-ins from care coordinators or therapists. The data gathered by the system, such as sleep quality, activity level, or nutrition, provides the framework for personalized conversation. This hybrid approach honors both the efficiency of technology and the irreplaceable value of human relationship. The future also points to increasing personalization. Already, we see adaptive learning systems that tailor cognitive exercises to an individual's specific abilities and pace. A senior with mild cognitive impairment may benefit from brain training modules that gently challenge attention, executive function, or verbal recall, progressively increasing in difficulty while adjusting in real time based on performance. These programs, informed by neuroscience and gerontology, aim not to fix the brain, but to stimulate it, to engage it, and to preserve what can be preserved for as long as possible. We must also acknowledge that technology, no matter how advanced, cannot fully address the emotional and existential realities of cognitive decline. There will be moments of confusion, fear, and sorrow. There will be good days and difficult ones. But what these tools can offer when implemented with thoughtfulness is a buffer against the most isolating aspects of this experience. They create space for safety without restriction. They enable connection even when words are lost. And they give caregivers a greater ability to understand, respond, and protect. For families and loved ones, the benefits of these technologies are equally transformative. Remote monitoring tools relieve the constant anxiety of wondering whether your parent or partner is safe. Medication trackers and health dashboards reduce the burden of managing dozens of small but critical details. Communication apps help maintain closeness even across distance, allowing for real-time sharing of updates, images, or reassuring messages. And when the cognitive decline becomes more pronounced, these systems can offer a continuity of presence, a digital form of caregiving that complements and supports physical care. There are, of course, barriers that must be addressed if these technologies are to be widely adopted and equitably distributed. Affordability is one of the most pressing. Many of the most effective tools, from smart sensors to AI-powered apps, come at a cost that may be prohibitive for individuals on fixed incomes. Insurance coverage for cognitive support technology is inconsistent, and while some long-term care policies may include it, many do not. Bridging this gap will require policy innovation, public funding, and a broader recognition of cognitive support as a fundamental aspect of senior health. Digital literacy is another essential factor. While many seniors are increasingly comfortable with technology, those experiencing cognitive decline may find it especially difficult to learn new systems. That's why user design must prioritize simplicity and accessibility. Interfaces should be intuitive, commands should be natural, and instructions should be clear. Training and support must be ongoing, not a one-time session, but a sustained effort that evolves alongside the user's needs. Ideally, technology should be introduced before impairment becomes significant, allowing for familiarity and comfort to take root early. Finally, we must shift the cultural narrative. Too often, the conversation around aging and technology centers on what is lost: memory, speed, independence. But we must begin to speak more about what is preserved and what can be enhanced. Technology is not only for the young and the fast, it is for the wise and the experienced. It is for those who have lived long enough to understand the value of time and who deserve to live the rest of their lives with safety, purpose, and peace. For those of you navigating cognitive impairment today, whether personally or as a caregiver, you are not powerless. You are not forgotten. And you are not alone. The tools available today, and those emerging tomorrow, are not about replacing the human mind. They are about supporting it, honoring it, and adapting to its changing needs with compassion and intelligence. Small decisions like trying a voice assistant to help manage daily tasks or setting up a smart pill dispenser to ensure medication safety can lead to profound improvements in daily life. A single app that reminds you to hydrate or offers a moment of music from your past may become a touchstone of comfort and clarity. And in the hands of someone who understands its purpose, even the simplest piece of technology can become a shield against chaos, a bridge to connection, and a quiet affirmation that your life still matters deeply. In the end, this is what technology should do. Not just solve problems, but support the full, complex, human experience of aging. It should stand beside you, not ahead of you, not over you, as you continue to live, adapt, and find meaning in every chapter of your story.